Hello and welcome to Midlands Today. The headlines tonight: not safe. Accident and emergency services for children in Stafford are suspended.
We knew that this could happen because it hasn't got the backup that that department needed.
The Trust at County Hospital in Stafford blame a shortage of experienced staff for the problems. Also tonight, relief as hard work is rewarded. The Warwickshire teenager with more reason than most to celebrate his GCSE results. I
agree with my mum saying, do not let one thing get you down. So dyslexia will not slow me down.
100 firefighters tackle a blaze at a Grade 2 listed Black Country building. A different kind of blockbuster, the romantic who commissioned an animated film in Lego to propose to his girlfriend.
And after today's rain, there's more to come over the bank holiday weekend. But equally, there could be more scenes like this to look forward to. Join me later for a full forecast.
Good evening. NHS managers at County Hospital in Stafford have suspended children's accident and emergency services, saying they aren't safe. 2 years ago, the old Stafford Hospital was at the centre of a national scandal when a catalogue of poor care and avoidable deaths were revealed. Well, following today's suspension of children's A&E, under 18s will be transferred to hospitals in Stoke-on-Trent, Wolverhampton or Walsall. In a moment, I'll be talking to the town's MP, Jeremy Lefroy. But first, here's our health correspondent, Michele Paduano.
For 5 years, Leo's mum has been banging the drum for hospital services after Leo had excellent care from birth. 5 weeks ago, he banged his head and again had excellent treatment. But hospital campaigners always said taking away specialist doctors was unsafe.
They gave us that service. They took a wonderful and fantastic service away from us and gave us this service. We were saying as Support Stafford Hospital, this service is not safe. You are not giving us the backup service behind. They cannot change the goalposts like they're so constantly doing.
It was pressure from 50,000 protesters that led to the Children's Emergency Centre opening last year, but it was a compromise. And a review group have now said it can't carry on without a full children's life support team.
There are specific requirements set out which developed in December of last year for specific levels of training for all staff that were involved in peds resuscitation. At the moment here, we don't feel that at all times of opening that we have those levels of skills and competencies. Therefore, the safest thing to do for the children was to suspend services.
Stafford has a troubled history. In December 2013, a 3-year public inquiry found patients were failed by a system that ignored warning signs. In November 2014, a new hospital takes over and Stafford is renamed County Hospital. In August 2016, due to staff shortages, children's emergency services are suspended for not being clinically safe. It happened quickly. Staff found out by email this morning. I understand that a 3-week-old child was brought here by his parents on Sunday in a car, extremely ill. That child had been seen at the hospital in Stoke-on-Trent 2 days earlier, but the hospital has denied that that death has had anything to do with the sudden decision to close this unit. But absolutely categorically, the timing has nothing to do with that case, because you'd have thought it would have concentrated your mind, because you would have had to have done emergency resus.
We're already having those discussions, so no, it hasn't changed the decision.
Some think it's sleight of hand to save money, but with a national shortage of paediatric staff, campaigners don't expect the unit to reopen anytime soon. Michele Paduano, BBC Midlands Today in Stafford.
Well, I'm joined now by Jeremy Lefroy, Conservative MP for Stafford. Good evening. Your reaction to the closure of this unit?
Well, I was shocked to hear it because since the unit opened just over a year ago, I've had nothing but very positive feedback from my constituents about the service that their children and young people have received there. So I'm extremely disappointed and want to see this reopened as soon as possible when they can sort out the problems with training.
You had no warning this was going to happen then?
It was mentioned to me briefly yesterday that it was a possibility, and it was confirmed this morning just before the announcement was made.
And you said that you want to make sure that this unit is reopened as soon as possible. What does as soon as possible mean?
Well, I don't think I can place any time on that. I've asked this afternoon in conversations with the consultants, and they've understandably said, look, we can't give you a timetable, we need to look at this carefully. This is a matter of patient safety, and I fully understand that. I respect the decision they've made, but clearly for my constituents this is a valued service that they need to see returned as soon as possible so they don't have to travel further afield.
Yes, you say it's a valued service by the local community. How confident are you that this is just a suspension, a temporary closure, and not a permanent one?
Well, look, we were promised by the Trust Special Administrators in something that was signed off by the Secretary of State, Jeremy Hunt, announced in the House of Commons by the then Prime Minister David Cameron, that there would be this children's emergency centre as part of the package that was given to us. And even this afternoon, I've seen many other positive elements of that package. The new chemotherapy unit, new wards, the new orthopaedic surgery unit that have taken place under that. But this children's emergency centre was part of that, and a vital part of that, that gave reassurance to parents in my constituency that their children would have access to these services locally.
Jeremy Lefroy, thank you. A nervous wait for thousands of teenagers came to an end today as GCSE results came out. Well, nationally there was a fall in the number of pupils awarded A-star to C grades. But for one student in Warwickshire, studying for the exams has been tougher than for most. Matt Crossley has had to overcome dyslexia and the death of his mother. Bob Huckenhull reports.
It's 8:30 in the morning. Matt Crossley from Studley in Warwickshire is preparing to go and get his GCSE results. If they're good enough, he hopes to become a professional photographer.
Positive that I did the best that I can.
He's just taken it in his stride. I'm apprehensive.
Studying has been tougher for Matt than it is for most teenagers. His mum Sue died of cancer last year and he's dyslexic. And this is where Matthew is coming to get his results. Maple Hayes School, 40 miles from his home and where he studied for the last 7 years. It's Matt's last 3-hour round trip to the school in Lichfield, which his mum battled hard to get him into. It specialises in helping dyslexic children.
Morning.
Morning.
I hope these are the results you need.
Now it's the moment of truth. He needs 4 GCSEs at C grade to study photography.
Oh, wow.
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 He's done it, an achievement that would make his mum proud.
Due to my mum dying, I knuckled down and tried my hardest. I agree with my mum saying, do not let one thing get you down. So dyslexia will not slow me down.
Without the support of the school and the staff, he wouldn't be having the results that he's got now. So I'm grateful and thankful to the school for what they've done.
Founded by the headmaster's father, the school uses cartoons to help students understand the meaning of words.
We are getting them to feel that they can continue to learn and they carry on, and so that they will carry on learning, they will carry on improving.
That approach has certainly helped Matt. To cap his successful day this afternoon, he was accepted onto a photography course at the Southern City College in Birmingham. His mum would have been delighted. Bob Huckenhull, BBC Midlands Today.
Well, congratulations to Matt. And whatever your results, there's a useful guide to GCSEs on the BBC News pages. You can find that at bbc.co.uk/news/education. A severe fire has ripped through the thatched roof of a well-known Black Country restaurant. At its height, 100 firefighters tackled the blaze at Hickory's Smokehouse in Wall Heath near Dudley. The Grade 2 listed building was once a nightclub where the Beatles and many other famous names from the 60s and 70s played. Kevin Reid has the details.
The alarm was raised at 2 a.m. and within hours the fire had taken hold of this much-loved Grade 2 listed building. Built in the 1920s, it underwent a major refurbishment just last year, including a new thatched roof.
The design of a thatched roof is to egress water, so obviously firefighting techniques is very difficult during those times to get into the thatch and put the fire out quite quickly.
You can see behind me the thatched roof has collapsed into the inside of the building, and later structural engineers are due to come and assess the totality of the damage. The building is adjacent to hotel and leisure facilities, which all had to be evacuated. It's a venue which has hosted many famous acts, including the Beatles.
I live just up the road, so we've known it for years. No, it's heartbreaking.
gobsmacked when I walked down there. Oh my God.
Seen it rebuilt like they did it with the new roof and everything, it looked fantastic, and to see it like this now, it's quite gutting actually.
Well, somebody said the Beatles had been there, but I don't know about that.
Staff were today sent home until further notice. The owner said it was too early to say how much damage has been caused, but some are hoping staff will be able to return to work as soon as possible.
I think it supports around 80 people, so it's not a small number, and obviously, we want to get it reopened as quickly as possible so those people aren't affected.
The Environment Agency have been called in to help deal with all the water runoff, and for now the fire service will stay here just in case there's any chance of this fire reigniting.
And Kevin joins us now with an update. So what is the latest, Kevin?
Well, the latest is that they're still trying to establish what caused this fire, and I was speaking to a fire investigating officer who said that's not going to be known for at least a week because there's so much rubble inside there. They're going to have to start excavating that out of the way tomorrow before they can establish where the seat of that fire was. Now, I've also been speaking to a friend of the family who says that they're hopeful that this place will be rebuilt over the next 6 months and hopefully reopened within 9 months' time. So fingers crossed it will be back in business before too long.
OK, Kevin Reid, thank you. Staffordshire Police has been told it needs to improve the way it records crime. A report by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary concluded the force fails to document 1 in 10 offences. Sexual offences and crime related to modern slavery are among the 7,000 crimes that went unrecorded. I'm joined now by the Police and Crime Commissioner for Staffordshire, Matthew Ellis. Good evening.
Good evening.
So 1 in 10 going unrecorded. How would you rate that?
I think it's so complex. I think some of this is crimes that are changing under the counting rules. I think it's the fact that you can have a brawl outside a pub and under the old arrangements it would go down as 1 crime, but now if there's 7 people involved it might go down as 7. Listen, policing across the country has improved a lot as far as recording crime is concerned. In Staffordshire, I'm pleased that the HMIC report said that they believed people who had been victims of rape and this sort of thing. But there's an awful lot more to do, but the complexity is very difficult. And the fact that we've got social media now, so the judgment of officers as to whether being nasty to each other on social media constitutes a crime.
Well, you say it's complicated. Just have a listen to this, if you would. This is what Wendy Williams from Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary had to say about it.
If a case is not correctly recorded, then there is the risk that it will not receive the quality of investigation that it requires, and in turn there is the risk that the victim involved will not receive the service that they require.
So what do you say to those victims of crime whose case would have gone unrecorded?
Well, there aren't always victims. Quite a lot of crimes are victimless crimes. So
but the chances are 1 in 10 there will be some victims amongst them.
Absolutely. And my focus with the gateway we've done and the new arrangement with victims is absolutely to make sure people are supported. Policing is changing very fast. Staffordshire Police need to put work in place to improve the way they do this.
And how quickly can you do that?
Well, I think it's a gradual thing. I mean, the counting rules, the way policing is done, the way crimes are recorded have changed dramatically. They do need to catch up. They're in a different place, better place than many parts of the country, but they've got to do better, and we need to make sure that every victim or potential victim is captured.
OK, Matthew Ellis, thank you for your time this evening. Thank you. Detectives have launched a murder investigation after a man who was stabbed in Birmingham earlier this week died. Officers were called to Summer Lane in Newton on Tuesday evening, where they found a 26-year-old man with life-threatening injuries. He died in hospital today. No arrests have been made and investigations continue. Swimmers are being warned about the dangers of going into open water after 12 people died in the seas around the UK in less than a week. For those responsible for looking after the Midlands open water spaces, it's a difficult balance between keeping people out of danger whilst allowing them to enjoy it. As we continue our look at the Midlands from above, we examine how that balance is being struck. Rebecca Wood reports.
The reservoir is just under 5 miles all the way round. The reservoir, when full, is 630 acres, but the site that I manage is 750 acres in total.
The tranquil blue waters of Draycott Reservoir near Rugby, holding around 5 billion gallons of water, it supplies hundreds of thousands of homes in the surrounding area.
On days like today, when the temperature rises, areas like this might look like the perfect place to cool off, but underneath the inviting blue waters, there are hidden dangers.
Thousands of people flock to the site each year to enjoy water sports and the scenery. But for Ranger Tom, that means it's a delicate balance between letting people enjoy it and keeping them safe.
It's not about telling them off as soon as they get in and being, oh, you know, you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't be doing that. It's explaining to them why they shouldn't be doing it, because people are a lot happier with an explanation and a reason as to why they shouldn't be, as opposed to just a blanket ban.
Last year, 231 people drowned in open water, with cases spiking sharply when the temperature rises.
It's a large body of water. It takes all year for it to heat up, and even then, even in October when it's at its warmest, it's only about 13 or 14 degrees. You end up getting cold shock as soon as you jump in the water, so that's that sudden gasp of breath, that and then if you've taken any water in then, you're already struggling, you're already doomed. But then also it's so cold in there that within 15 minutes you'll end up getting hypothermia.
Ready? Let's go. It's such a concern for water companies that Welsh Water have released a hard-hitting film. It shows the harsh reality of entering open water, but the message doesn't always get through, and that means the summer months can be a busy time for our fire and rescue services. For the teams in the West Midlands, monitoring pools, lakes and canals keeps them very busy, and they need to keep their training up.
We pride ourselves on a 5-minute attendance time to Category 1 incidents, so this being a rescue, or if we're training for a rescue, we need to know that we can get here, evaluate the situation pretty quickly, and then put a plan into place. At no stage to enter the water. It may look calm, it may look inviting. There is undercurrents within water that you don't know about that can drag you under. It's just not worth it.
Although staying safe is really important, there are still loads of ways to enjoy our open water.
That's Rebecca Wood reporting. Thanks for joining us on Midlands Today. This is our top story tonight. Not safe. Accident and emergency services for children in Stafford are suspended. We'll have your detailed weather forecast to come shortly from Shafali. Also in tonight's programme, a proposal with a difference. The Worcestershire romantic who used a Lego animation to pop the question.
There's something I wanted to ask you. I realise I'm so lucky. And I was wondering, will you marry me?
Did she say yes? We'll find out shortly. Now, scientists in Birmingham have found a new way to recycle important metals found in almost every type of technology. Magnets made of rare earth metals are a vital part of everyday objects, from mobiles to computer hard drives. But most of the world's supply is found in China, so recycling isn't just greener, it would secure a new source of these essential materials. Our science correspondent David Gregory Kumar explains.
This is a time-lapse showing how you recycle a magnet made of rare earth metals. You just pump hydrogen gas across it and it simply dissolves into a powder. At the University of Birmingham, they want to do this on a commercial scale. And this piece of kit, complete with borrowed drum from a washing machine, is how they're going to do it.
The magnet reacts with the hydrogen, it expands as it does so, and the structure starts to break apart, but crucially it demagnetises the material. And then when you spin the electronics, the powder drops out through the bottom of the vessel, and then you can liberate a clean fraction of powder. And that material we can then reprocess back into new magnets, which is what I'm holding here.
Reducing these super strong magnets to a non-magnetic powder is what's so clever here. It would be impossible to recycle these magnets using traditional methods. They'd just shatter and then stick to the metal inside the recycling machine.
And this is the ideal candidate for this new recycling technology. It's a computer hard drive. Now, we already recycle about 100 million of these every year, mainly for metals like aluminium. But they also contain up to 25 grams of rare earth metals. So for the first time, we can start to get at that and recycle that too.
So the team have helped create a robot that can spot the magnetic signal from the rare earth magnets inside a hard drive and cut off the corner where they are found. It's these bits of hard drive that are loaded into the machine, ready for recycling. And all of this isn't just greener, it's also a way to create an entirely new supply of a vital material which otherwise is currently only really found in China.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I think we just have to keep an eye on the situation and make sure that we can survive outside China, because they've got their own needs and demands as well.
Which is why there's so much interest in taking this from the lab to a factory. Recycled rare earth magnets could be coming to a gadget near you by early next year. David Gregory Kumar, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
Ask motorists and cyclists alike for their top bugbear, and potholes are likely to feature pretty highly. Local authorities across the country are constantly waging a war against them, and now Staffordshire County Council has bought a £200,000 machine to tackle them. It's officially called the Roadmaster, but they've nicknamed it the Zapper. We sent our Staffordshire reporter Sean Greschek to look into it.
Staffordshire's new pothole Terminator, and it's even driven by Arnie. No, not Schwarzenegger, Arnie Hackett, and he's a big fan of this new bit of kit.
Absolutely wonderful machine. Do the work of 3 men, do 350 metres of potholes a day. Absolutely wonderful, and the best thing about it, it keeps the traffic moving with minimal delays.
And just a few minutes later, he'd transformed the road from this to this. Since January, Staffordshire County Council has identified nearly 10,000 potholes. They've managed to fill in around 9,000. Now, they separate them out into categories and prioritise them that way. So a category 1 is very, very serious and needs urgent action. This one here is a category 3, so it's not top of their list. The County Council has spent £200,000, but will taxpayers see a good enough return?
One man in the cab does it all. We do all the operations by one man. More efficient, better value for our taxpayers, and a better finish to the pothole. Get more done quickly.
This road's a nightmare because you get big, heavy traffic coming through. They can't handle it. So I'm glad they're doing something about it finally.
Well, if it fills them in quick and they can keep doing it, champion. So if it works, it won't be a good thing, won't it?
The sooner they fill them in, the better, aren't it? It's going to help filling potholes in, definitely.
Are you ever going to fill in every pothole in Staffordshire?
Do you ever reach utopia with road repairs? You know, with the good old British weather and other factors, it's almost like painting the Forth Road Bridge. You're never finished. However, it's our job, my responsibility, and our responsibility to ensure that our roads are the best we can make them.
The council is so happy with the machine it's rented 2 more, bolstering Arnie's army with a mission that couldn't be clearer.
I'll be back.
Sean Greschek, BBC Midlands Today, Staffordshire.
Don't give up the day job. Getting a marriage proposal right is pretty crucial, but how creative was yours? Well, Ben Anderson was so determined to impress his girlfriend, he had a mini Lego movie made to help him pop the question. The Worcestershire romantic took the love of his life to the cinema for a surprise showing. But did she say yes? Tom Turrell has the answer.
Hi, Kirsten. It's me, Ben.
This is Ben Anderson from Worcestershire. Well, it's Lego Ben, at least.
I wanted to share some of the good times we've had together.
And this is the animation he made to help him pop the question to his girlfriend Kirsten in front of a cinema audience in Birmingham.
There's something I wanted to ask you. I realise I'm so lucky. And I was wondering, will you marry me?
Fortunately, she said yes. But ever since the unusual proposal, Ben and Kirsten's world has turned upside down, with media interest from around the globe.
I don't know, I thought about different ideas and finally settled with an animation theme.
Closer to home at BBC Hereford and Worcester, and the pair are back in front of the microphone.
I kind of build it as a weekend away, go to the cinema, go for dinner, and just relax, really. For me, it was anything but.
For now, Kirsten's making do with a cheaper engagement ring until she can have her grandfather's redesigned.
I think overwhelmed might be the word I would use. I mean, nothing could have quite prepared me for it. I had a number of thoughts going through my head, thinking, you know, where's this going? How has he done this? You know, obviously a lot of preparation had gone into it. But just, you know, felt so lucky, really.
The boy behind this wedding proposal movie is Morgan Spence, who's just 17 and from Scotland. He made it by taking thousands of pictures and sticking them together.
Every 10 seconds or so there would be a new set, and actually in this film one of the main challenges was building these sets, because I had to think about how do you recreate a beach in Thailand or the forests of Cambodia, and these are things that I hadn't done before. But so every new scene required a new set, and that certainly took a lot of time and effort.
Everyone knows a good marriage needs strong foundations. Well, now the building blocks are in place. The only problem is, Ben, you've raised the wedding proposal bar so high, it rather puts the rest of us to shame. Tom Terrell, BBC Midlands Today, Worcester.
And if you can top that, do let us know. Now, some pretty weird weather around today. Misty to start with, then very muggy. How's it shaping up for the bank holiday, Shefali?
Unfortunately, Mary, there's more of it to come. And of course, it all started yesterday with that intense heat and humidity across the south of the country, which generated quite a few thunderstorms, which extended all the way into the Midlands. But of course, from a weather watcher's point of view, it did produce some beautiful sunsets through the showers, and also some of these, a red rainbow and also a double red rainbow. Now, those are caused by the sunlight, the light shining through the raindrops, and for a double red rainbow you have to get that light being reflected twice as opposed to once. But of course, at least it was pretty, because unlike today, it was really dull and soggy and really drab as well. We had lots of heavy rain across the region, and we've still got that continuing into the early part of tomorrow morning, for which we have a warning, and that could cause some local disruption as well as a result of that rain. And not only that, we've got more rain to come, as I say, over the bank holiday weekend. We've got this area of low pressure and this rain pushing up from the southwest. That's going to move northeastwards, and then it's going to come back at us during the course of Sunday from the north. So this is how, in a nutshell, it's looking and shaping up for the bank holiday weekend. It's going to be wet on Saturday, some heavy rain around, more rain on Sunday, quite a lot of mist and murk as well, because we keep the warmth and the humidity, and then by the time we get to Monday it starts to clear up. A slow improvement, but it will be fresher by that stage as well. But currently we're still experiencing a lot of rain. We're in the thick of it actually in the next couple of hours, and it's all moving away very slowly to the east. So you'll find that by the early hours it starts to dry up with clearer spells across the region, and as a result of that, temperatures will drop to 10 to 13 Celsius, so it's a little bit fresher, a little bit cooler and more comfortable to sleep in tonight. But for the morning tomorrow then, well, throughout the day, it's a very different day. We've got lots of sunshine, it's dry as well, just a bit of fair weather cloud bubbling up towards the northwest, and that will spill a little further southwards. So across the northwestern quarter of the region, or half of the region, you'll see that sunshine turning a little bit hazier, but temperatures dropping back down to about 20 to 22 Celsius in light westerly winds. And then looking further ahead, well, it's going to stay dry tomorrow night and into the start of Saturday. But as I say, we've got that rain working its way in from the west after midday. Could be heavy, and then continuing into Sunday as well.
Okay, love the red rainbow, not so keen on the rain. Thanks, Shefali. That was the Midlands Today. I'll be back with your next news at 10:30. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.